Hey Mixxies! Welcome to Mixed Thoughts, a grooming podcast. It's your groomer bestie here, Ciara, coming to chat with you about the ins and outs of grooming and entrepreneurship. We'll dive into a mixture of topics with stories from myself and friends near and far. Let's navigate this journey together. What's up, Mixxies? Welcome back to another episode of Mixed Thoughts, a grooming podcast. I'm your groomer bestie, Ciara, and you are listening to or watching the #1 Black groomer podcast in the world. I don't know for sure. I'm making that up, but no, I'm not. I'm manifesting that. We're putting that into the universe. And that's going to be a thing. I am the #1 Black groomer podcast in the world, okay? Manifestation is a thing, people, and put it to good use. So, thank you for coming back or coming to view this channel or view or listen to this podcast. I'm working on the kinks with saying both because y'all are watching on YouTube right now and you're also listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and listen to them. So yeah, this is going to be one of my favorite episodes, I feel like, because this has been like the pivotal moment of me becoming a business owner, and it was like the best and the worst time of my career. So I just love the fact that I can say I am a Jill of all trades in the grooming industry because I've done a whole bunch of different types of grooming. So I think that's also why I named this podcast and kind of my brand like Mixed Thoughts, because I have a mixture of topics to discuss when it comes to grooming, because I've done pretty much all of the grooming genres that you can think of. I've done corporate grooming. I've done private shop grooming. I am now talking to you about mobile grooming. So, and then there's another one. So, yes, I am a Jill of all trades, and I'm a mixed bag here. So, I think Mixed Thoughts is very, very fitting for me and for this podcast. So, yeah. Let me know if y'all like that. If I'm not changing it, I'm just letting you know. That's why I made it. Because 1, I am biracial. 2, I do a mixture of clips. I do all different types of haircuts, all different types of breeds. And I am in multiple genres of grooming. So yeah, makes sense. Makes total sense. But I want to hop into this episode just to first give you some type of definition as to what a mobile groomer is, in case you weren't aware and you were living under a rock. But hey, some people don't know what mobile grooming is or what a mobile groomer does. So I'm about to put you on real quick, okay? Here's the definition that I got off of Google, but I'm also putting my interpretation on it as well because it's pretty much accurate from what Google said. So, mobile grooming is a service where a professional groomer comes to your home or another convenient location to groom your pet. The groomer arrives in a custom van or trailer with the necessary tools and supplies and sets up a grooming station inside the vehicle. So I call this the convenience of grooming. And I can agree with this definition to some extent because when they say a professional groomer comes to your home or another convenient location, they ain't always professional, y'all. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. They're not always professional. And they act like they're professional, but they have not done any schooling, academy training, or mentorship. They just saw it on YouTube, saw it on TV, saw it somewhere, and was like, you know what? I could do that too. Let me go grab me a trailer. Let me go grab me a van real quick. Let me go grab me like a little school bus or whatever the case may be. That was me. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Not being professional, the owning a bus. Child, I already told y'all. If y'all missed episodes 1 through 3, go back and binge because y'all know that I started at PetSmart. So let's keep that a 100 and clear, crystal clear, that I am a professional dog groomer. Always have been since my PetSmart days. So just need to clear that up, because the way I said that, I was just like, I wasn't talking about me not being professional. Child cheese. Anyway, so yes, I will agree with this definition when they say a groomer comes to your home and is in a vehicle that already has grooming equipment and grooming supplies provided. So all you have to do is bring the dog out, or the groomer will come to you, knock on your door, and ask for the dog or dogs and bring them to their van, trailer, or bus. There are many forms and fashions. I've even saw someone with a RV. Yes, like you can get these customized. There are a lot of companies that convert grooming vans or grooming trailers or grooming buses, whatever the case may be. They can convert it into having a salon inside the vehicle. I know one of my friends that is based out in, is she in California? I think she's in California. Shout out to you, Fluffy Tail Grooming. I think that's how you say her business. Girl, I'm sorry if I explained your business, but I'll leave it. So if you're based out in, I think it's South California, I'm going to do some more deep diving, and then I'll put all that information down below. But she's black owned mobile grooming business. And she, I believe, has a trailer, or she did have a trailer, but I know she is very functional, and she gets to people quick. And, she does really great work, especially in a trailer. I thought that was pretty cool, because I was like thinking about, would I get a trailer? But I'm just like, I don't want to haul anything onto my car, or I would have to get like a SUV or something like that, because my car, I'm not sure, could have that hatched on to the back of my car. I just don't think that's feasible. But there are a lot of groomers who get the mobile vans, the Sprinter vans. They are either like the wagon tails or the Humvees, or they get them customized, and they are like Ford models, Mercedes models. I think GMC models has them. There's a whole bunch of vans, trailers, buses, like I said, that you can convert and make into a grooming salon, which I feel is very, very convenient. And I want to give y'all a little background on how I became a groomer and what I used, a mobile groomer, and what I used in order to travel around and run my business somewhat efficiently. It took a while for us to get the hang of it, but let's get into story time. And let me tell you about how I went from the private shop into running the mobile grooming business fully without having both jobs simultaneously. Ooh, I said that really well. I thought I was going to jack that up, but I did it pretty well. So, yes, in the last episode that I talked to y'all about the private shop and working there, I have told you that my boss at the time was okay with the fact that me and my ex-business partner had our own business, our own mobile grooming business, because she was already grooming out of her home, my ex-business partner. And so she still couldn't, retain clients, repeat clients. She only had a few. So she needed another job. And so that's why she went to the private shop. And then she told me about it, and I went there and did my whole thing. I was able to work there. But as she was trying to build her business, essentially it was her business, she asked me to join her with running a business. And good old PetSmart saved the day for the both of us. So basically I paid for the bus, but we'll get into that. We'll jump into that a little bit later. But actually, I'll make that a Patreon exclusive. So if you want to know more about that, hop on to Patreon, where you will, or wherever I'm going to make this exclusive content, hop onto there. I'll leave it in the show notes, and you can get a deep dive into that situation. But let's just talk about the specifics of how I obtained this bus, right? So I told y'all about the 401k in the corporate salon episode, where I put, a percentage in for my retirement and PetSmart matched it. Yeah, that was a good look for me because I was able to take out money out of my 401k and purchase a mini school bus that was converted into a mobile grooming vehicle of sorts. And the way we found this is shout out to friends that are groomers and that, support you and you're still friends with them even after you leave a certain job. So one of my friends, she saw, I guess, a bus for sale in her area where she lives. And she sent me a picture and she was just like, hey, are y'all looking for a grooming vehicle to use? Because I seen this on my way to work and I think you guys could use this. Because we were talking about it amongst friends and just we're like, we got to find a van. We got to find a vehicle that, will be easier for us to travel and just get more, range of clientele, if we have a mobile vehicle, we will be able to get people faster and an abundance of clients in that same location. So she told us about it. It was all the way in the boonies. And we were just like, me and my ex-business partner, we were like, well, let's just go and check it out. What's the worst that could happen? We go and look at it and we can't get it. All right, we'll keep looking. So we drove all the way out to Browns Mills. Now, Browns Mills is, like I said, the boonies. It's in the woods. And it's a little sketchy out there. I ain't even gonna lie. It's a little sketchy out there. But there was this couple that had their own private shop. And the wife was the groomer. She'd been grooming for 20 plus years. But she couldn't work anymore because she threw her back out and it was to the point where she could not physically groom any longer. So what they were doing was they took everything that they had in their private shop. It was a small little, I want to say kind of like a studio, not an apartment, but not, I don't even want to say a shack, but Browns Mills homes, they could be very small. So I think she used a spare mini house or trailer or shack or something. And that was her salon. So she took this small salon and put all of the stuff into a GMC 99. It was a 1999 GMC Savannah bus, a mini school bus. They painted it green from top to bottom with black paw prints all over this bus. So it was pretty much an eyesore, but in a good way, because if you drive that thing, you cannot miss it. You will not be missed. And I'll tell you, we got stopped everywhere. We got stopped at the stoplight. We got stopped on the corner of the street. We got stopped while we were still mid-driving. It was wild. I was like, oh, this is how we're going to make our money. This is how we're going to get clientele. Just this big behind bus for everyone to see every time you go down the street. I was like, oh, this is perfect. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's backtrack, right? So we go and check out the bus and we check inside. Now, mind you, I said that they converted the private shop that they had into this bus. Now, they had the whole kit and caboodle. They makeshift the grooming table. Mind you, it was a hydraulic table that did work, but the tabletop was this wood plank, like a piece of wood plank and some weird tarpy material that kind of felt like a tire that was ripped apart and then like laid on top of it, and they like stapled it underneath to be the tabletop for this hydraulic table. It worked. I'm not going to say it didn't work, but it worked. Did it work well? Debatable. They also had furniture from like a house, and it was like this wooden dresser. It was like they had three drawers of this dresser, and they had all the grooming equipment in there. So they had their clippers, they had their, happy hoodies, the scissors, the blades, the dilution bottles. They had the whole kit and caboodle in there. And then on top of that, they had another kind of like armoire wooden piece of furniture that put everything else that you could like think of, like the large bottles of shampoo, some spare blow dryers, because she had about like three B-Air small blow dryers, and then she had a large K9 which was just out next to the hydraulic table. And so the way they did this though was very, very unique, and I will say I'll give it to them for doing a DIY job and doing it well. But they also had a water tank. It was a huge water tank. I want to say it was like maybe a 50-gallon, or maybe it was even 100-gallon. I don't know. It was a really big water tank that was on the ground, and that's where you filled up all the water. So you could utilize it for the tub. And then they had a flying pig tub right next to the water tank. So, and then everything was gutted out. There was no chairs. It was just the hydraulic table. Then next to that was one of the dressers, and then the armoire in the back. And then next to that was the water tank, and then next to that was the flying pig tub. So it was a whole thing, like around the whole thing, and you can walk straight through the bus, which was convenient because we were able to work in tandem, my ex-business partner and I. So we would like go to people's houses that had multiple dogs, and we would, work in tandem, and I would wash the dog while she prepped on the hydraulic table, and then we would swap, and then we would try to make it work. It was very interesting and tricky because the husband of this dog groomer, he was MacGyver, and he makeshift a whole bunch of stuff. So there was a light fixture that he like kind of taped or glued to the roof of the bus, right? And he connected it to the front of the bus, but underneath the hood of the bus. How did he do that? I do not know, but I will tell you it worked. It turned on, it turned off. And all that you could do was just literally sit in the driver's seat. There was no other seats. So like if we were riding together, most likely the safest thing we would do is one would drive in one of our cars, and then the other one would drive the bus, and then, one would drive behind the other. Preferably I would drive, like say if I was driving the bus, I would drive the bus, and then behind me would be my ex-business partner doing that. So yeah, it was very interesting. Trying to figure it out, navigate how it worked, because I never worked in a mobile unit before, and I've never owned a mobile unit before. So I'm trying to learn how he created everything and how everything works. Oh, and mind you, there was a generator on the back of the bus. I just attached it, was on this like hinge thing, and then he put that on top of the hinge and it was connected to the inside of the bus. It was a whole thing. Oh my gosh, if I have a picture, I will put it up. If you're watching on YouTube, I will put it up here or here. Somewhere you'll see it, if I can find a picture of it, just to show you what the bus looked like. I feel like you can watch on one of my Vlogmas episodes that I sold the bus, and you can see what happened in the inside. You can take a look at it. So if you are listening, go onto my YouTube channel, Mix Clips, and check out my Vlogmas, and you will see where I cleaned out the bus, or they took a lot of things in the bus and then I junked it because no one wanted to buy the bus anymore. It was like damaged goods. But the equipment inside the bus was beneficial for somebody, for a starting out groomer who was doing house calls. We'll talk about that next episode. But long story short, we got to figure out the ins and the outs of this bus and how they orchestrated it and created it to become their mobile grooming salon, which I have to applaud them, because this was an older couple, and then the way he figured it out and the way his wife would just, go from house to house and it worked for them. I was like, okay, if it works for them, it's going to work for us, right? So what was happening is she wanted to sell us her business, meaning she wanted us to like take her clientele and the bus with everything in it. And she was selling it for, I think she was trying to sell her business in the bus for $19,000. Yeah, she was trying to sell it for $19,000. And we said to her, it was like, well, we don't even service this area and we don't need extra clientele, because mind you, we were building up our like clientele with my boss's at the time private shop. We were, getting clients from there. I still had clients from PetSmart who followed me to the private shop. So, word of mouth, my clients tell other friends of theirs, and then they come to the salon. But me telling them, like, those are my clients. I'm not bringing new clients for them to stay at the private shop, because once I go, they follow me. And my boss knew that. So, and she honestly didn't, like I said, she was trying to sell us the shop. If you didn't hear that in the last episode, go give it a listen. But she was trying to sell us the shop, so she kind of didn't care about it anyway. She didn't care about what was going in or out, the clients that were coming in or out. Like, at that point, she didn't care. So it wasn't a bad situation for us to have clientele. Like, we already had clientele. We just needed a vehicle to facilitate the clientele. So we told her that we don't need the clientele. We just need the bus. So we negotiated a price much lower. I'm not telling y'all how much it was. Or should I? If you want to know how much it was, let me know in the comments. But we actually got her to lower the price, since we didn't want her clientele. We just wanted the bus. So she was saying, we'll negotiate this price and you can just take everything, but as is. Like, whatever it is. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. Because it was, I want to say, a little bit more than half of what we purchased, like what she was selling it for with the business. So I said, yeah, this is a good bargain. This is a good deal. I'm glad we negotiated it. We signed paperwork, gave her a check. I guess it was like a cashier's check. And we did a test drive before we left. No, we checked it out and we said, hey, can we come back tomorrow to do a test drive? Because it was getting dark and we were asking a whole bunch of questions, and we didn't want to be rushed with this final decision of owning something. So, like, this was a large purchase for me, like, just kind of like cash on hand kind of thing, but not really. But you know what I mean? Like me taking out a large sum of money to invest in my business. I was like, I need to reevaluate and sleep on it. So we came back to test drive it, and it ran fine. It ran fine. I'm not going to say it ran great. It ran fine for a 1999 GMC Savannah bus. I would just want to reiterate that. It ran fine for that age of that vehicle that it was. So we, got the paperwork. We got the deed changed over to us. Not the deed. The title. Not the deed. This ain't no house. Kinda felt like a house to me. It was a large purchase, my first large purchase like that. But we got the title and we switched everything over. And the first thing we started to do was bit by bit start taking things that could disintegrate because of wear and tear and warping of the water the water and the condensation inside the bus with wooden furniture just wasn't making sense to us. So bit by bit, we would take out old stuff or damaged things and put in new things like plastic containers, plastic drawers, plastic storage units. We did a whole bunch of plastic just because it's easier to clean up and it's not going to disintegrate on us over time. So I don't know why we didn't get another tabletop for the hydraulic table. We just didn't, because also we were learning as we went and we were figuring out our finances on like running a business for the very first time and like getting out a business loan and doing all these things. Like, mind you, yes, the money out of my 401k helped, but that only paid for the bus specifically. We still had insurance. We still had maintenance to do and pay for gas. So the mobile grooming bus was a hit. Everybody was seeing us. Everyone was like asking us for our cards, asking us, hey, what's your number? And we have a little magnet and we put it up on the bus and we're like, hey, it's right there. Like, you can call us or you can go online. They would stop us dead in our tracks. It was wild to see. I was like, are we famous or something? Like, what's going on? It was funny. It was really comical. But I will say, after some time, it was giving us some problems. First, them tires. Bus tires are humongous. Did not realize how big, but I should have, because I'm like, a bus compared to a car is totally different. Like, the size ratio is like, there's a distinct difference. So, of course, the size of the tires are going to be different as well. And they cost more. They cost way more. We were trying to navigate how to drive this bus. Now, I will say, I have driven a U-Haul before, the same size as my mini school bus. I have driven a Dodge Durango because my mom I called it the big red boat. I drove that while I was in college. So that thing was pretty large. So I'm kind of used to driving large vehicles, but not on a regular basis. Yeah, I drove my mom's Dodge Durango from time to time, but like, I wouldn't always have to take her car to go to school. So I'm like, yeah, I know how to do this, but like me doing this every day or like 5 days out of the week, yeah, I'm not familiar. So I'm going to tell y'all this. There were times that we would sideswipe stuff. Thank God not anyone's car. I think my ex-business partner did sideswipe someone's car mid like hit highway situation, because the mirrors on the side mirrors, they're huge. If you remember riding a school bus or being on a school bus or seeing a school bus, those side windows, they're huge. They're big, just like a truck, like a four-wheel, like an eight-wheeler, I guess you can say, like a tractor trailer. They got them big ass mirrors. So do buses. So we didn't really gauge the perception of how close we are to other things. So I have, bypassed some walls from time to time, a lot of branches, a whole lot of branches. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Like, it was inanimate object. Well, not to say that a car is an inanimate object, because it is, but I wasn't the one doing that. I would just say that. But there were times that, like, we would have to use people's electricity, like go to people's houses and have this long ass and like industrial cord and like plug it to the outside of people's houses, and to use the generator to turn on the lights, to start the water pump, to like blow dry the dog, to use the shop vac. All these things, you can't use that all at once. I'm just going to say that, because there have been many times, many times that we would try to wash the dog while drying another dog, and then all of a sudden it just went boop, turned off. There were many times that the bus would shut off and people's houses, their lights would go off. We were like, did we do that? Was that us? And sometimes it was us. So we had to figure out a way to have multiple things running at once. And we figured it out. We had this, what do you call it? The extension cords, but they're the industrial utility extension cords. I cannot think of the name for right now. It's like, it's got the safety feature where, like, if it's over, there's too many wattage or too many things going all at once, it will shut off from the extension cord and not from the actual source. So we wouldn't be like worried about, oh my God, did we just turn off people's electricity? Like, no. Oh, and another thing, for the reason, how we were able to get water, I'm going to tell y'all this. If you are going to be a mobile groomer, you have to be savvy, or just buy an actual already customizable mobile unit, because we had a makeshift one. Remember that. Like, we didn't get it made for us. Somebody made it themselves and then sold it to us. So we're trying to figure out how they were functioning with these dogs, but it was only one woman working with like maybe 1 or 2 dogs a day. Like, it depends on, like, we would do like maybe 4 dogs in a day, 4 or 5, depending on our schedule. And how we did that, I don't know. God was on our side when we were during this grooming stage, this mobile grooming stage in my life. The way we scheduled dogs, and we had to swap from like in-house to mobile, or we worked together, or we had to, it sounds chaotic when I talk about it, but we made it work. Somehow, some way we made it work, and I don't know, but I'm grateful. And I'm not going to complain, because I made money and I figured it out. We figured it out, which kudos to us, But where was I going with that? Sorry. When I talk about like my grooming journey during this time, it was layered. It was a lot going on. But, how to get water. So we were roommates, and we were living in an apartment complex, and we were allowed to park our bus in one of the many, spaces that provided us in our complex. We didn't get any like flack for it at first, but then over time people were like, I don't have any parking spots, and that bus has been there for the whole time. And it's like, no, we haven't. We just park in the same spot all the time. There's a difference. Regardless, we try to figure out how to get water from our apartment and bring it down into our bus. So we would park close to our apartment building, and we would have, like, those shrinky, the hoses that shrink up really tightly, and you can put them in a small area and not like they take up all the space. If y'all know what I'm talking about, we had those hoses because the lady who owned the bus and gave it to us, she had those. And I was like, oh, this is so convenient. She was so smart and resourceful. That's why I was like, oh, if she can do this, we can do this, But we were trying to get the water from our sink and put it into the water tank in the bus. That didn't really work. So we figured out something else. We got large buckets of water, and we would bring them up and down. We were on the second floor. So we would get gallons of water, big buckets of water, fill it up, go downstairs, put the water in there in the tank, go back upstairs, fill it up again, go downstairs. That whole thing. After a while, I was getting tired with that. I said, oh, this ain't going to work. We have to do this every day. Well, not every day, because we didn't use up the water every single day to the point where we had to refill it. But many times we have to refill this. So I don't know how we found it, but I think this is what happened. We went to a local gas station to fill up the to fill up the bus, and we didn't have to use diesel. Thank God. I asked the guy, the husband who sold us the bus, I was like, does this run on diesel? He was like, no, it runs on regular gas. I was like, okay, bet, because I know that diesel gas is expensive, okay? So I was like, all right, we good on the gas situation. Yes and no, because gas still costs the arm and the leg, baby. It was a lot of money per week. We were spending like anywhere from $80 to $100 a week on some freaking gas. And I was just like, I don't know how this worked. Sorry if I screamed, but I'm thinking about this now, and I'm like, how were we doing this? How were we making money? We were making money. Some way, somehow we were making money, right? But we went to a local gas station and filled up the tank. I guess I went to like the little convenience store in like that. You know how some gas stations, they have convenience stores. So I went in there. I think I went out the back way, the other way. Some reason, I don't know. Or this could have been my ex-business partner. I don't remember who did this because this was so long ago, back in like 2018, 2019. But I saw a water spigot connected to the building next to the convenience store, like next to, like on the building where the convenience store was. So I think it was me. Now, I could be wrong, but either I went and checked it or she went and checked it and told me about it, but turned on the little spigot and water came out. I said, wait a minute. I think I know how we can get this water and make sure we get this water every time we need to refill, right? Started getting the hose, started connecting it to it, and then started putting the hose like outside of the window, because it was right, like the water tank was like right underneath one of the back windows. So I just pushed that bad boy down, put the hose like through the inside where the window was, and then put it right directly into the water tank and filled it up. And that only took us about like 10 minutes. If that, we were just sitting there waiting for it to fill up. Sometimes it would overflow because we were not paying attention. And water flew everywhere, but thank God we had so many towels, so we cleaned up our messes. There was many times we just had trial and error, and we had to figure it out as we went. And that's the beauty of like running your business for the first time. You just figure it out as you go, and the things that you know you're not supposed to do, you just don't do them again. You know, that's just the name of the game. But we were very lucky when it came to like figuring things out as we went, because our water heater went. Okay, so let me tell you the things that like broke down on us or like went on us. The tires busted because we would side swipe like the sidewalk a lot, and that would cause a bubble in the tire, and then that would cause the tire to deflate. So we would have to buy new tires. I think we bought new tires twice. Yeah, I think we bought new tires twice. The water heater went out on us, or it was either the water heater or the water pump, or both went out on us, and we would have to go to Home Depot a lot and figure out what was what. The generator stopped working on us one time. Oh, did we have to buy a new one? No. The coil. There's like a coil piece on one of the generators. I forget what kind of generator it was. Do not ask me because I don't remember. But I think a coil piece of it like burnt out, and so we would just have to get a replacement like coil battery situation or whatever the case may be. And we had to figure out how to work a generator. If you are okay with figuring things out and tinkering with things, then it's cool to get like a converted like makeshift grooming vehicle. But if you ain't about that life and don't got the time nor the patience to do that, please just get a Wagon Tails, a Humvee, or one that is very known for customizing mobile grooming units. Just don't waste your time with all that stuff, because it's going to give you a headache and you're just going to be stressed, all the way stressed. But we were kind of desperate, and we were just working as we went, but we were very good with working together as a team and figuring out if there was something that went out on the bus, we would like bring it to the other one's attention, and we would collectively figure out how to get this to work or how to replace it or whatever the case may be. Also, what else went? I'm trying to think what else went. Those were like the main things that went. And we replaced the like the cabinetry, like that storage furniture. We replaced that. So stuff like that. During the winter months. Now, if you live on the East Coast like me, and you have the 4 seasons, summer, winter, fall, and summer, you have to adjust accordingly to the elements, because when winter time hit, we did not think about pipes freezing. We did not consider or think about the water freezing in the tank, and we're not able to use the frickin' water, even if you have a water heater. It didn't matter because it was already in the tank. What we used was this fish, like a fish heater, like you put it in the tanks to warm up the water for the fish tanks. We had to get that and put it in this big ass water tank to warm the water. And then we also had to warm the pipes because they froze over and one of the pipes burst. They cracked. The water froze into the pipes and cracked one of the pipes. And we're like, we're not freaking carpenters. We're not like freaking engineers. We don't know how to freaking change this piping out, but luckily we're helpless women and we know men that want to help us. So perks of being pretty and delicate flowers, I guess. I don't know. But we figured out help. We asked. Women ask. I don't know why y'all men, because some of y'all men are on here watching. I know some of y'all are some groomers. Shout out to y'all. But why don't y'all ask for directions or ask for help? Why? Why is that a thing? Why is that a bad thing for y'all? Like, I don't understand. You can ask for help. I'm not shy to ask for help, okay? So we were able to get that fixed, but like you have to be cognizant of the elements, because I did not know that you have to drain, which sucked too, because that means I had to get up extra early, or she would have to get up extra early for us to go to that, handy dandy gas station and fill up the tank so we can go and groom these dogs. Child, that was the worst. I was just like, I don't have time to drain this freaking water out. It was just too much. But just as much as it was annoying that the water froze in the pipes and in the tank, is the flip side when it is excruciatingly hot during the summertime and you can't leave the bus on to get the air going and have the generator going at the same time, grooming dogs, blow drying dogs, using the water. You can't have both. So you either we did have a fan. We did have a box fan in there, and then we had this like window ventilator fan that kind of helped, but it was just blowing hot air. So it's like you're not really getting a breeze, you're just getting hot wind blowing in your face, and then you're dripping in sweat, and then dog hair is flying all around, so all the dog hair is stuck to your body, and you're just miserable. You're just miserable, hot and sticky, full of hair. So it's like the two extremes. It could be freezing outside and you don't have any water, or your water is now an ice block, or you're excruciatingly hot and the moisture on your body is just dripping from head to toe. So yeah, those are things you would need to consider if you want to do mobile grooming. And another thing was trying to find a good maintenance person, like a person that can help you with the maintenance of your vehicle. Now we I'm going to have a whole nother story about this on exclusive content, but we did have a mechanic. Was he reliable? We had two mechanics, but okay. So the first one, they're both men. Most mechanics are men. It's just, that's the industry. Just like most groomers are women. That's just what it is. But the first mechanic that we had, he was very nice, like maybe too nice, a little too handsy, if you will. And he was trying, I think, because we would pay him, but we wouldn't pay him the price that you normally would pay. And it was because he thought we were cute. I'm just going to put that out there. But it always seemed like if we were asking him to help us, he would say, yeah, but for like a favor. And I ain't about favors like how he wants the favors. But I will say that we did partake in medicinals. I'll say that. We like our Mary. I'll just say that. So it was kind of like a barter kind of situation, but not, because then we was picking up what he was putting down and we wasn't about that action and we wasn't no parts of that. And I was just like, yeah, we're going to have to remove ourselves from you because you a little shisty and a little shady and a little too comfortable. And I ain't that comfortable with you. I don't know you like that. Don't get too comfortable with me, okay? Because it ain't that type of party. I'm just here for the services that you provide, which are mechanical, not what you think. Okay? Regardless. We got what we needed done with that certain situation, but then we were just like, all right, we got to be a little bit more professional, I guess you can say. But we were trying to get a deal. We were struggling. We were struggling groomers trying to start a business. We were just going with the flow, trying to make things work, and we did. But you can only make things work but for so long. So found another mechanic, but he was just too clingy. Like, he always was like asking for rides because he didn't have a car. Excuse me. He didn't have a car, but he had like 4 kids with no car. And I said, sir, how this working? How you trying to help us with no car, but you going to say, hey, come and pick me up and I'll fix your bus for you? I was like, he did help us. But then he started to get a little too clingy and too, not touchy feely, but he was just too needy. And I was like, you, sir, I don't know you like that. Again, y'all getting too comfortable. And I'm like, is it because we're women and you think you can get one over on us? You think you could take advantage? Because I can see what you're trying to do. And it ain't working over here. Okay, partner? So yeah. I had the second mechanic work with us until the pandemic, until the bus broke down for the last and final time, where we didn't want to just keep on putting money into it. It was becoming a money pit and it was just burning a hole in our wallets. So we just made an executive decision to just keep it idle and then people could come to us, and that was working for a little while. And then the pandemic happened and it was just, we had to stop. We just full-blown stopped using the bus. But it did wonders for us. It really was convenient and helped us gain more clientele. We even did a little pop-up shop in our van. We did you can come for 4th of July, or I forget, it was a holiday where I parked the bus in front of my mom's house, and I sell health and wellness products for pets and people. So it only made sense to start displaying the supplements and the dog treats while people came to the bus, and they could get a free nail trim. Was it a free nail trim and brush out? I think it was a free nail trim and a free brush out if you came and bought some products and just learned about the products and stuff like that. And that was good publicity. We took pictures of the dogs after they got their pedicures and things like that. So it was a cute incentive. Only a few dogs came by, but it was something that we were like, we're figuring out how to market our services and our business. And that worked because word of mouth happened, and we were able to facilitate more people. It was just the vehicle was not sustaining the business, and that's part of your business woes. You'll have ups and downs of your business, but you, like I just said earlier, you'll learn from the mistakes that you made, so not to do it again. But all in all, it was a very good learning experience, because there have been times that I was stranded in the middle of nowhere with that bus because we ran out of gas, got stuck in the rain. I took that bus down because I live in South Jersey, and I went to Intergroom to compete for the very first time. I'll get into that in more detail, but I took the bus because I was going to wash and dry and prep Jackson, because Jackson was my competition dog at that time. I was going to prep him in the bus so I wouldn't have to wake up so early to go to someone else's, grooming station. And like, you have to sign up to do bathing, like to prep for competition. So there's time slots that you go and wash your dog, dry your dog, and prep them. I was like, no, I don't want to do all that. I have my own van or my own vehicle. I can do that when I get there. It was one of those times where I drove. So Jackson was in the tub while I was driving, and it was pretty safe because like you could lower it like high up or down below because, we groom large and small dogs. So I just had him on the lower end of the tub. And driving down the turnpike, the New Jersey Turnpike, and the front of the bus just starts smoking. And I'm like, what's going on? I was like, is there no antifreeze in there? Did I not put something in there? But at this point, like, we were just always on alert because there was always something going on with this bus. So it wasn't a shocker to me that something was going to happen. I just didn't want it to happen while I was on my way an hour and some change from South Jersey to North Jersey. Just me and my dog on this old bus. And of course, of all things to happen, it happens to me. And the bus overheats. I have to pull over. I have to call AAA. AAA does not take my bus off the turnpike. I had to call someone else that had a bigger flatbed to take it off of the turnpike to park to the next exit. Wasn't even close to my exit. It was maybe two or three exits away. That's it. This is great. So I had to pull over, or I had to call them. They took my car, or they took the bus, left it at a shop, an auto shop in North Jersey. And I'm like, I can't just have this just sitting here in North Jersey. Like, I have to, one, go and register to compete. Two, have to figure out how we're going to get this back to South Jersey because we had other mechanics to help us. We had clients that like knew how to fix like large vehicles and things like that. After a while, we needed to figure out how to bring that back to South Jersey. And I had to get an Uber and take me and my dog to Intergroom. We still competed. We still did the thing. But that was another like notch in the like belt of things that could go wrong while owning a mobile grooming bus. But nonetheless, great learning experience. Now I know what to do if I get another van, which I am hoping to get a van, not another van because I never had a van, but I am hoping to get a van this year, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be customized. It's going to have all the things that I need and nothing that I don't. And it's just going to be more efficient. But I know now what I need. Oh, excuse me. And what to expect. I'd had some ginger ale earlier, so them bubbles. Apologies. But yeah, like stuff like that is, you have to go through it, if that makes sense. If you have to, you kind of have to go through it to get through it. That's a better phrase, because I wouldn't have known how to fix light fixtures in a bus. I wouldn't know how to determine if the generator works or not. I wouldn't know what extension cords to use, what type of cords to use. If you can use multiple functions at once in a vehicle, like these things I wouldn't have known if I didn't actually get into it and do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that was a long story time, but I want to give y'all some perspective on my end, just from my journey, because everyone's journey is not going to be the same as mine. But I just wanted to give you like a viewpoint of how I navigated that space, and maybe you would be able to handle that, or maybe not, just from learning from my story. But I do want to give you some pros and cons for mobile grooming for a pet parent and for a groomer. So I'm going to give you the pros for a pet parent and for a groomer, and then I'll give you guys the cons. So, pros for mobile grooming for a pet parent is it's a luxury service. We come to you. You do not have to step a foot outside your door unless you are bringing your dog physically to the vehicle. That will be the only time that you step foot outside your door. So the luxury of that is top notch, and it is very convenient. So the convenience of having a mobile groomer come to you is great. Less stress on you and less stress on your dog. I can't tell you how many of my clients were senior dogs and they get car sick. They have anxiety, they shake, they hide if you had to take them to the groomer. Some of my clients, they were like, my dog would try to bite me if I tried to put him in the car. And they just were amazed and like so thrilled to know that this service is available for them. And then I also, not only did I have senior pets or like pets with disabilities, I also had senior clients. They couldn't drive at a certain night, like at a certain time. They would have to have somebody pick them up or take their dog to the groomers, and that wasn't always convenient for them because, you know, relying on other people, you have to adhere to their schedule. And when you get an appointment for a groomer, you have to stick to that, or fees come into play. You might not get a booking until like weeks later, and your dog needs a groom now, and it's just a whole thing. So the convenience of having a groomer come to you and the less stress for both parties, A1 for me, and for the pet parents. It's a comfortable environment. You are in the company of your own home. You don't have to do much, but you don't even have to get dressed. A woman came to the bus in a robe and some slippers, honey. She was like, "Here's Fido." I said, "Oh, okay." Or did you take a shower? She said, "No, girl, I'm about to." I said, "Oh, okay, have fun." I'm like, not her coming out here with a robe on and some slippers. I said, "But you do you, boo. That's why I come to you, so you can get what you need to get done. And it's also convenient for people who work from home or like stay-at-home moms or dads. I'm not gender specifying because there are stay-at-home dads too, and shout out to y'all. Okay? Period. But yeah, it's convenient, it's comfortable. Your dogs are comfortable because they're still familiar with the sights and sounds and the scents of their home. So they're not anxious to be like, "Oh my gosh, you're putting me in the car. What's about to happen?" You know? Also, I sometimes allow my clients to come into the bus and just be there because they get nervous and they're still like a little apprehensive about like leaving their dogs by themselves, which I didn't have a problem with. Some people may have a problem with that, but it wasn't a problem for me because I want my clients to know that I'm trustworthy. So you can come in here or you don't have to. Like either way, I want you to know that it's a comfortable, stress-free environment and it's safe. So yeah, the convenience and the comfortability just kept the pet parents at ease as well as the pets. Also, another pro is the one-on-one service, the customizable one-on-one service. When I say customizable one-on-one service, it's that one dog or that one household that I am, or a groomer is, catering to those particular dogs or dog, and no other dogs are around. There's no other dogs running around, barking, causing chaos, causing frustration, making the other dog nervous and fearful. If the two dogs are in the same house together, I will bring them both in so they can know that their other friend is still there and it's not just them. Now, if it's just one dog, I still, will give all of my attention to them and there's no other dogs around, and I can kind of take my time and make sure that I do good quality work and make sure that I am, honoring safety precautions and whatnot. So that is the number one pro for most pet parents, is the one-on-one customizable service that they enjoy. Also, top two, because time also is on their side, because they don't have to worry about oh my gosh, I have to go grocery shopping, and then so I might as well take Fluffy to the groomer to stay in the complex. So by the time they're done, and I can check and see when they're done so I can come in there, and it's just too much hustle bustle, too much stress on the groomer, too much stress on the dog, too much stress on you. So there's a time slot for your groom service, and you can, like I said, you can go and take your shower. You can answer a phone call. You can do some work. You can be on a Zoom call. Whatever it is that you need to do, get the things that you need to get done over there. And you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, time is of the essence, because it's not. It's lax. So those are the pros for the pet parents. Excuse me. The pros for groomers is, and I love these. I was like, oh, this I could do forever. Make your own schedule. I don't have to worry about who's going to be off on vacation, who called out, who got to do this, who got to do that. I don't got to worry about nobody else but me, myself, and I. And I can make my schedule to be, I want to take 5 dogs all week. I can want to take 5 dogs a day. I can decide how many dogs I want or don't want. Also, I get to make my own clientele. When I say that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is even better, because at PetSmart, and sometimes it depended on the private shop, whatever dog I had to get, until I started making requests clients and they only wanted me, and then I couldn't take no other clients because I was already booked with my clients. So that started, after a while, after time progressed, I was able to have my own clientele. But right off jump, you get to decide the size, the breed, the behavioral, descriptions of these dogs. You get to decide. They don't get to decide. You do. If you don't want to take doodles, you don't have to. If you don't want to take bad dogs, you don't have to. Before, when I started mobile, I was like, I got to take all kinds, because I can't just pick and choose, because I'm not out there making all the big bucks yet. I can do all these dogs. I was able to handle bad dogs at PetSmart, so I was like, I can handle bad dogs in my own business, but I didn't want to. So then slowly but surely, I said, I don't have to. And I didn't. Let me reiterate. I didn't. I didn't have to, and I didn't. So I loved that for me. I also loved the fact that I could take my time to be more creative, care for special need dogs, and perfect my skill set, because I wanted to be better than what I was when I started at PetSmart. And obviously over time and seminars and educational classes, master classes, all the things, you will get better if you want to be better. but I didn't want to have to rush to be better. Now, I was a power groomer back in my PetSmart days, but I slowly learned that that wasn't the best thing. That wasn't like the bee's knees. Wait, where the hell did that come from? The bee's knees. Child, I don't even know why I said that, but I said it. But yeah, that slowly proved that that is not what I need in order to be a good groomer. I was like, no. I get to slow down and take it easy. I started just like grooming. Like I was a power groomer still at PetSmart, but I was like, why are you going so fast? Yeah, I get it. Like I probably wanted to go fast so I could be done my work earlier and I would just get to relax for the rest of the day. But I'm like, no, if you are charging these people, well, I wasn't charging them that much back in the day, but if you're charging these clients a certain fee, you need to make sure that your skill set reflects that price. You know what I'm saying? So, and I wanted to be more creative with my grooms. I got into Asian fusion style grooming. I started to get more into color. I did not do no creative grooming like turn a dog into a panda bear. I did that on Hot Dog, but not the way y'all thinking. I didn't like create like intricate designs in the dog. I just did color, painted the nails, and did really nice grooms. So, but knowing that I had time to do that, it was less stressful on me because I was just like, I get to be creative. I get to make a name for myself and say, hey, this is my styling of grooming. If you like this style of grooming, you come to me. If you want a different type of style of grooming, that's not what I do. But I take my time and perfect my craft to make sure that your dog looks tip-top shape, you know? So I enjoy the fact that I can take my time and perfect my skills. And then especially the special needs dogs, like the senior pets or the dogs with high anxiety, you want to take your time with them anyway because you don't want to stress them out or make it worse for them. Because then that doesn't help the situation. And then you're there even longer. Or you could harm the dog in some way. So definitely got to be careful with that and just go slow. Another thing is, now this is for my introverts, some omniverts. Is it ambivert? Is it omnivert or amnivert? I think it's an amnivert. Both extroverted and introverted at times. I feel like sometimes I can be a little bit of an ambivert, but most of the time I'm an extrovert. But for my introverted groomers, being a mobile groomer means that you get to chill by yourself, just you and the dog for the most part. Because like I said before, when I was starting off the mobile grooming, I was doing it with my ex-business partner. But then slowly but surely we decided on how we could switch off the bus by ourselves. And it worked. It worked. Some way, somehow it worked. But the fact that you can have your own personal space, no one's in your area, no one's like talking to you when you don't want to be talked to, you don't have to fake the funk, you don't have to be present in a conversation that you don't want to be present in, and you get to listen to your own music. I can't tell you how many times people would play music on their phones in the salon, and it would be this death metal, some country. And I had to just sit there because I would play my hip hop and my rap and my R&B. I would play my things, my hits, my early 2000s, you know. And they would have to listen to that. They probably didn't like that music, but I didn't like their music. And I'm just sitting here like, what the hell is this? What y'all playing in here? I said, oh, my ears. Oh, no. So I would have to just put something in my, like put headphones on or something and just like drown that music out. And then on top of that, the music in the store repeating over and over and over and over again. And if I had to hear another God blasted Christmas Taylor Swift or Christmas Mariah Carey, I was going to lose my mind. I was just going to lose my ever-loving mind. Ain't nobody got time for that music every single Christmas. I love you, Mariah. But golly, no. So the fact, oh my gosh, the fact that I could play my own music and just have my own personal space, sometimes it's good to just be by yourself and just zone out. I could listen to a podcast. I can watch a YouTube video or a vlog or listen to music and dance with the dogs and have a good old time. I'm in my element. I'm in my zone. I feel good. The dog feels good, and we all good. So those are some perks for my introverted friends, okay? And ambiverts, because sometimes we need some space away from people. So yeah, so let's get into the cons. The cons for pet parents is, since it's a luxury service, you have to pay more. You get more, you pay more. The quality is better. The convenience is better. Oh, you paying more. You're not going to pay the same price at a shop or a corporate salon. Because corporate salons, sometimes private salons, are all about the quantity and not the quality. Mobile groomers, they more geared towards the quality because they're spending more time with you. They're doing a one-on-one, customizable service, and they're making the dog comfortable and, taking their time. So if you want that convenience and that luxury service, you got to pay for it. It's like you are renting a car and you want to rent a Tesla, but you want to pay a Ford Taurus, or what is it? A Ford Focus price. Yeah. You want to rent a Tesla, but you want to pay the Ford price. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. To rent that car, you're going to have to pay that price, and the same goes for mobile grooming. So that's just a little, it's not that bad, but some people got issues with, why are you charging me for the same thing that PetSmart does? I can go to PetSmart. I hate when clients say, why is it this much? I can go to such and such. Well, then go there. The reason why why that price is because of what they do, the services that entails it, and how you are getting the services done. I charge my price because I'm bringing my salon to you. You don't got to leave your house. So yeah, you shouldn't pay the price that I'm giving you at PetSmart. You should not, because you got to get out your house. Got to put your dog in the car seat and the doggy seat and the back seat, wherever. And you got to hear them howling and crying and screaming and all that. And if they are, you should give them some CBD oil. You can find that on my website. I'll leave it in the description, in the show notes, just to let you know. But you got to do all of that to take them to the groomer, for them to sit in a cage for 3 to 4 hours, when you can just stay in your house. I'll come to you. I will be there maybe no more than 2 hours tops and working only on your dog. That's it. So you won't have to pay that price, baby. I'm just sorry. I'm not sorry, actually, because mobile groomers deserve to be paid more. We do a lot of work. So yeah, you got to pay more. It may be difficult for larger breeds to get a mobile groomer. Not all mobile groomers. Not all mobile groomers groom large dogs. They sometimes have a weight restriction, or they could have a breed restriction. I mean, that was the pro for a groomer. You get to decide on your clientele and the dogs that you groom. But for pet parents, that may be a con, because they might have a Great Pyrenees or a Samoyed or, a Saint Bernard. And that dog is just too big to fit in that van, or that groomer has a bad back and doesn't want to, strain their back, or they just don't feel like grooming big dogs. And so that might be a struggle for pet parents that have larger dogs. But it's not to say that it's not possible, because not now, but I still have big dogs that I groom, but I do house call right now. But as a mobile groomer, I groomed some big dogs. I groomed golden retrievers, I groomed Samoyeds, I groomed mastiffs, German shepherds, lots of doodles. So yeah, it depends on the groomer. So you would just have to call around to see if they take large breeds. But if you have small dogs, you're in the clear. And there might be booking conflicts if you get a mobile groomer, because mobile groomers most likely are booked like months out if they're a good groomer. Like I'm already booked. I'm pretty much booked for May. I have probably like maybe 3 or 4 spots left. And people already book out for the year. Like I have a lot of clients that book the whole year out. So, you get in where you fit in. And if you don't have that time that you're looking for, you will have to wait. And sometimes that doesn't work. And sometimes you're going to have to go find another groomer because you went on vacation and the pet sitter didn't brush your dog out. And then when you got home, the dog was matted. And now you're like, Fluffy needs a haircut. And it's a little too late. You should have booked that appointment before you went on vacation. But things happen. Life happens. But sometimes you just can't get the schedule that you're looking for. And sometimes you're SOL. So that could be a little bit of a conflict. So, yeah, that would be the cons for the pet parents. But for the groomers, now if you're an extrovert and you like to be around people and you like to socialize a lot and just talk and in a salon setting or just talk to people in general, you're going to be by yourself a lot. So if you don't like spending most of your time grooming by yourself, I don't know if this is the profession for you or this is the style of grooming that you want to engage in. Just saying. You are more confined and it's not easy for you to move around. You're like in a more confined space than you are in a like corporate salon or a private salon. There's more space because there's more dogs that are going to be in that space versus you got 1 or 2 dogs in your van tops. Why you need all that space? You know what I'm saying? So if you get a little claustrophobic or you don't like confined spaces, this might not be the job for you. It's probably not best you do that. Just saying. And if you get car sick too, it's like, do you want to do that a lot? Because there'll be times that you on long rides, stuck in traffic, you got to sit around. It's just a lot of waiting. And it's like, do you want to do all that? You might, or you might not. The choice is yours. Also, trouble booking same day appointments. So say, okay, this happened to me a lot in the beginning. I would book appointments and then something would come up. They're like, oh, something came up. I have to cancel. Sorry. But I did not implement a cancellation fee or a cancellation policy because I wasn't thinking about that at the time because I was like, oh, clients aren't going to cancel on me. Yeah, clients canceled in PetSmart and like I would get another dog like that because people would call in and they were like, are you having any openings today? And I'm like, yeah, I just had a cancellation. Come on in. So it was easier for me to like book dogs that canceled on me, or if I was short that day, like didn't have that many dogs that day, I would just call and I would book a same day appointment. When you mobile, honey, not everybody is at their house chilling and just waiting for you to call them. So I would have a cancellation list and I would call them and they'd be like, oh, sorry, I'm working today, or I'm at work today, or I got to take the kids to soccer practice that time, or whatever it is. It's not always that easy to reschedule or do a same day appointment for cancellations or rebookings. So that could be a little annoying and daunting at times, but I will say it's not it depends, I guess, on the location and like your environment, but that's not always going to happen. It's like kind of rare that you get so many cancellations. I'm not saying that it don't happen, because it obviously happens. I still get cancellations to this day. But now your baby girl got a cancellation fee. So if you want to add on $50 to your groom the next time you book, then that's what you want to do. That's your business, and that's your funds, not mine. But you live and you learn, like I said earlier. So those are the pros and the cons for pet parents and for groomers. And I want to close off by just saying I truly enjoyed mobile grooming because it was very convenient. It was an opportunity for me to branch out and like learn how to be a business owner, learn how to organize my schedule, learn how to organize just maintenance, having SOPs in my system. I mean, in my business, and SOPs stands for standard operating procedures. Didn't have that because I didn't know how to do that. I did, but it was already given to me at PetSmart. But it was like you slowly learn, because I had to kind of implement my own SOPs in the private shop to make things a little bit more organized. And then I just was like, well, duh, if I did that at corporate and then learned how to create a little bit of the SOPs at the private shop, why wouldn't I put that into my own business? Why wouldn't I implement that in my own business? Like, duh. So I was able to organize my business, structure it properly, structure it so it's convenient for me and for the pet parent, and just perfect my craft and enjoy what I did. And that right there, like, encouraged me to start doing competitions, because if I didn't like take my time and perfect my grooms just because I wasn't distracted, I didn't have other dogs around me, I didn't have people like in my ear all the time, like stopping me from grooming, I probably would not have tried to do competitions. So I'm grateful that I was able to get this opportunity to start my own business and be a mobile groomer, because I learned so many things after that and just became just a better groomer and a well-rounded business owner and an even better like entrepreneur. I have other businesses besides grooming. So that's awesome. But if you're a pet parent and you don't want to bring your pet to the groomers, or your pet doesn't do well with car rides, like, this is the service for you. This is what you need. You need to, if you do regular grooming and you go to a shop, and I just said all of that and that resonates with you, make a phone call to your local mobile groomer and see if you can book an appointment with them. Because, baby, when I tell you, you're going to feel so much better, you're going to be at ease, and your dog is going to be at ease, it's going to be a no-brainer for you to make that appointment to a mobile groomer. And if you're a groomer and you want to move at the beat of your own drum, or don't mind grooming by yourself or spending time alone for long periods of time, then this is the career for you, because all of that, like I just said, bettered me as a groomer and just an overall individual, business-wise, lifestyle-wise, convenience-wise. So all of that is the reason why I loved and hated this part of my grooming journey. But you gotta have your ups and downs in order to like really tap into something that you feel is your passion. And I feel like grooming is my passion now. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. But I have questions for y'all. Would you get a mobile groomer if you are a pet parent? Or would you become a mobile groomer if you're a groomer and you're trying to branch out and see what other facets of your career you could tap into? Let me know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, and let me know in a review if you are listening to this podcast. Also, do you have any mobile grooming questions or stories? I would love to hear a story, or I would love to answer your questions. If you have any, please feel free to email your questions or your stories to Mixed Thoughts Podcast. That's 2 X's and mixed at popupoochspa.com. Again, it is mixed with 2 X's, thoughts podcast at popupoochspa.com. And in the subject line, make sure you put Mixie stories or Mixie questions so I can look at your emails and know what they are. I know to look for the Mixie stories or the Mixie questions. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. It was a long one, but like this one was really detailed because it's like this was the like pivotal moment of my career and like my grooming journey. So yeah, I just wanted to give context and detail and pros and cons for, you know, all facets of the grooming experience. But before I go, I want to ask you a huge favor. If you could be so kind as to like this video on YouTube and comment a bus emoji if you watch to the end. So I know who's watching and who are my real Mixxies out there. Shout out to y'all. And if you are listening to this podcast, could you go on wherever you listen to podcasts at and rate this episode or this podcast a 5-star review? And could you review it like by writing a nice comment or just saying, give this 5 stars. This is a great podcast. It's very informational. Love the stories, whatever you want to write. And even if you don't think it's a 5-star, could you just rate it just so I know that the algorithm is seeing that people are interacting with this information, because I feel like I can reach more Mixxies that want to know about the grooming industry, about entrepreneurship, about business, about all the things that encompass life in grooming. So yeah, thanks again for watching and listening, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace.
I usually, what I do, I crank it up first before.
And then there's the lights.
Okay, we'll show you right here.
Oh, sorry.
This, I guess she gave you the scissors right here. Whatever's here is what's left in the press.
Oh,
So
awesome.
All that stuff. We got tons of stuff in that storage.
Yeah, I see.
We had a store.
Oh, you did have a store. That's right, you did have the store, and then you.
So all this stuff is
sold
like
it.
we don't need. So I'm saying, up,
Oh, okay.
down, it's plugged into there.
Gotcha.
And let's see. So that cord there. The yellow cord is plugged in this right here. The yellow cord
Yeah, and like you said, you could put it through the bus.
Yeah, pretty idea.